Hi everybody, this is Jim Egan, head of school, Synapse School with a Friday update. It is, I think, the last Friday of April, and we're heading into May, and it's busy. So, I'm looking at the calendar. Today, with Green Week going on this week. Thanks, parents, for the incredible lunch, right? We had a Sync staff lunch. TK had a field trip to seniors. We have the Buy Nothing Fair going on right now. That's just today. Tomorrow we have Peninsula Bridge College Transition Workshop on campus. Into next week, the 5th, the 6th, and the 7th grade are going on expeditions. In the middle school, we have a lower school welcome event on Sunday before we all leave. It really picks up in the next week to 2 weeks as we lead into the end of the year. And so parents, be mindful of what's happening here on campus. Also with your students, right? There's just a lot going on, a lot of emotions leading to the end of the year. And so refrain from adding extra, right? Let's celebrate and let's really be mindful of where we are at this time of year. It's also a beautiful time of year. So there's a lot happening here. Pay attention to the calendar, pay attention to emails, and that's it. But I did want to say a couple things before I sign off. I had a coffee this week, thanks to the parents who came, and we were talking about high school, our kids in 8th grade who've applied to independent schools and private schools, and how they did. And we had this fantastic, I think, experience for the kids who applied out. Not everyone applies to private schools. Some go to or matriculate into their local public schools. But we're really excited and satisfied for that class. And certainly there are individual students and families that are disappointed every year. But in general, it was a really, really great year, and we'll be sending news out on specifics in the newsletter, so pay attention, or on emails as well. But someone asked a really great question, like why did I think that this year was so successful on a class level? And I thought about it for a second, and I then began to say out loud as I was thinking a variety of reasons. And I think they actually, as I've reflected about my answer at the coffee, I think it was a good answer. And so I'm going to tell you why. I think this class in particular had such great results in general. One, our middle school has been growing up, and they have grown up with it. When I got here 12 years ago, we had one 8th grader, for example, really didn't have a proper middle school, and we've really built this out. Stephanie, who's the middle school head, has been doing it, I think 8 years is what she told me now. She started here as a science specialist. And if you factor in the pandemic, the past 4 or 5 years in particular, there's been tremendous growth and adaptations and iterations to our program. And that's been led by Stephanie and the team of teachers. We've really focused on our math curriculum. We've really focused on our writing and reading, our language arts curriculum. We've put in a robust set of offerings in the visual and performing arts, right? Those have grown. We have more athletic teams, more experiences for kids in sports. We have really built out a dynamic STEAM program that's centered in the EDC. Kids are really immersed in that makerspace, right? If we can call it a makerspace, it's almost beyond that. Our BLC, we have now developed over the past 4 or 5 years a proper middle school research assistant program that works with the Stanford team. More and more kids are involved in that. And so kids are having these experiences. The curriculum itself is getting tighter and better, I would say, in order to prepare kids for a variety of schools out there once they enter into 9th grade. And we're getting feedback from those kids. We're getting feedback from families when they go off, and we are making those changes here. I think also the schools are now seeing our kids in larger numbers, and honestly, our graduates are our best messengers, right? They are doing so well in the high schools on the peninsula and further afield. Like my daughter was on the East Coast at a boarding school. We had students this year apply to schools on the East Coast, and they're going to those schools. So I think it's not a simple reason. There's not one explanation for this, but I do think that the adaptations, as I said, and the changes we've made over the past, certainly 4 to 5 years, have had a tremendous impact, not only on the experience day to day here, but then on the outcomes as the students leave. And so lower school parents who are watching, I don't know if you know that, right? I'm not even sure middle school parents know that, but we're constantly iterating, constantly changing, constantly getting better. And Stephanie and her team in the middle school have just done an unbelievable job. So I'm going to sign off because I'm going to Utah with Stephanie on Monday morning, and I've got to start packing and getting my list together. Parents in the middle school know there's a lot of logistics that go into this. So that's it. Have a great weekend, and I won't see you next week. I'll see you the week after. All right, take care.